What is up, guys? This is Josh the Gamer here coming at you with a brand new video. So in this tutorial we are going to be covering what's called restitution. Now, what is restitution? Well, restitution is pretty much a physics property that represents how much bounce an object has. So, for example, a restitution of, say, a value of 1 will mean that the bounces will be 1 times the force of the previous bounce, or the same, or just the same upward force, whatever you want to think of it as. 0 means that an object will have no bounce whatsoever, and realistic restitution would be somewhere between 0 and 1, but it is, it's actually possible to have a restitution greater than 1. It's not really recommended to have a restitution that is greater than the value of 1, so just so you guys keep that in mind when you're actually using these. So how do you set an item's restitution? Well, the way you do it is by calling the set restitution action. So let's go ahead and call that. Underneath our set friction, we're going to go ahead and do player set restitution. Now inside of this, we're going to say 0.5. Save it, build it, and run it. Now, this should make our player relatively bouncy. So there you go. As you can see, it's now kind of, the player was actually bouncing, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and set the gravity to a higher value, simply because I just don't like the slowness of it. Let's go ahead and set the value to something higher than 1, and I'll show you exactly what that does. As you can see there, it's actually pretty powerful, and it can get pretty high. The jumps can get pretty high pretty quick, because the jumps will never stop increasing, and they will always just get progressively larger and larger and larger, and that's not a good thing. So for example, let's say 0.2 for the restitution. Alright, save it, build it, run it, and now it should be somewhat bouncy, but not too bouncy, as you saw there. And as you can see here, the friction is also, I think, kind of a little bit... Well, no, the friction isn't at work here right now, but the restitution sure as hell is, because it's kind of relatively shaky for some odd reason. And so, like I said, that's how the friction is, and so, yeah, that's pretty much restitution. It's really not that hard to understand. All you need to really know about restitution is that it's a physics property that pretty much defines how, quote-unquote, bouncy an object is. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next tutorial, where we will actually be covering linear velocity. So stay tuned for that.